Okay, welcome. And now for the last video, we want to talk about like how to scene switch in Unity and also how you can then build your game. And to do that, first thing I'll do is actually create a new scene where we can have a main menu. So I'll go in my scenes folder here, right click, create scene, and this one I will call main menu. And I will double click onto this thing. And we can see here, we have a camera, but nothing else yet. And first thing I want to do is just create a canvas. So I right click here, UI, go to canvas, and now we have this overlay canvas where we can add some UI elements into it. And to show you how this works, I should double click on it, which zooms out, and compared to the rest, canvases are always huge in your scene. And the thing I will add here is, as the first thing is just a text mesh pro text. So I right click, I'll repeat that, right click here, go here to UI, go to text mesh pro. The first time you add a text mesh pro thing, it opens up this window here, and we will import the TMP essentials for now. And that is all we want. You can also import the TMP examples and extras. I'll do that for now, but you don't have to. You can usually just work with the imported essentials. And this gives us all the things that we want to have right now. And I guess something weird happened. It created two of them in each other, but yeah. If I now click on here, I have a text mesh pro and it says new text. And if I play the game right now, so just see the scene, I can see that the text is in the middle of the screen and it says new text. Okay, so how do those components on a canvas work? They are a little bit different. You can see up here it says pos X, pos Y, width and height. So that's different than the other components you usually have in Unity. That's because they have a rect transform and they are attached to a point. This one we can see is now attached to the middle. We can change that. And for my text, I want to change it to the top middle right now. So if I click this button, these positions that I put here are now relative to the middle top of the canvas screen. So if I go here and have a look, so this minus 249 now tells me, okay, this is minus 249 away from the from my top. And now let's get a reference that we want to have. So I will create a full HD game as my reference resolution, and this is where my text would be positioned on a full HD screen. Okay, so if we play around with this position a bit, so you can go here, you can see it changes where it is in relationship to that top point. So I will put it on minus 265 for now, just a cool number. And we have a text here. Here, in this text thing, you can see there's a size, so I can also make the size bigger. There is this auto size button, which means that this text will try to fill out a sensible size. To make the place this text occupies bigger, we can also change the width and the height of our element. So if I've set the width at 600, the height of 200, my element will be bigger, and the auto size off, and I can make a pretty big text by adding, for example, a font size of 72 here. And there are some more things here, like alignment. I think you know how those things work. And here I will just call it main menu for now, and I have a text element in my game. And if I play this scene now by just clicking the play button, you can see there's just this main menu. Double click up there to have it bigger, and we can display some text, which in itself is pretty boring, but text displaying is an important part of making any user interface. So what's the next thing I want to have? I don't not only want to have a text, I also want to have a button. So I right click on my canvas, go to UI, and here go to button and take the one that says Text Mesh Pro as well. If you go here to legacy, you might find other buttons, but we always want to use the Text Mesh Pro components because they simply look better, clearer, sharper. And this is how I can create a button, and it already comes up with like a color tint and on hover and those things. So you don't have to care about that for now, and can just simply create a very simple button. I make it a little bit bigger, setting the height to, for example, 80 in my case. Also make it wider here, and we can see a button also has a text element in it. This text element just tells us the text on our button. So I will now call that one start game, and like that we have basically a very, very, very simple menu. Okay. And the next thing that we have, we have some errors now because we, for our canvas, are now not using the new input system, but the old input system, but we changed it to use only the new input system before. So on the event system, there's this warning, and we can fix it by just clicking this button, and now everything should be fine. So let's try that again. And play it. Also, you don't have to do that in later versions of Unity, but if you're still on 2022 3.4.85, this is still the case. And that's as simple as it gets to create a button. So now we probably want this button to do something. For that, we will need to create a script. And I will call this one main menu actions for now. Just create a simple script, open it, and actually we don't need anything in here for now. We just need a empty mono behavior. I can also get rid of those unused imports and start coding. So what I want to do is create a function that I'll call public void on start button clicked. And here we can, for now, just to see that it works, have a simple debug log and call it start button clicked. So very basic function, just a log function for now. And now we can go back into Unity to show you how to attach that function to the button itself. And to do that, I will now create an empty object. I will call main menu. In here, I'll also reset the transform. You don't have to do that, but I prefer all my, like, call it like manager scripts, ghost scripts, like anything that does not actually need a position, but since everything in Unity has a position, I'll just put it on 000 and be done with it. And I'll add the component of the main menu actions here. So now I have a simple game object which has the main menu actions. And if I click onto this button, down here you can see there is this onClick Unity event. And if I click on the plus, I can drag and drop the main menu that I just created into there. And on the main menu actions, now I can just use the onStart button clicked function. If I play this now, you can see if I open the console and I click on here, that it should call the function, but it didn't. No, it absolutely did. I just did not have notifications shown here. You can see here, you can filter those things. So that's also a piece where you can have errors, but no. If we can see, if I click, it starts to show me the start button clicked log here, which means we can see that we can have a button and have something happens once we click on it. So then the next thing is we actually want to start the game, switch to our level when we go there. And that's actually pretty easy. We just have to do some work to make it happen. So if we go here on top to the build settings, we can see that in our build currently we only have the sample scene and not our main menu scene. But we want to also have our main menu scene, and to make our main menu scene the first scene that we go into, we just drag and drop it onto here so that it has also the index 0. So now we have two scenes in our game, in our build. It's called main menu, one is called sample scene. We need to have both of those scenes in there so that we can correctly scene switch between them. And now I change the on start button clicked logic to say scene manager dot load scene, and in here I just need to give it the name of the scene I want to load. So in my case I can just call it sample scene because I never changed the name of the level scene. But now during the class we also changed the font that we had in our game, and to do that, we actually just downloaded the Canny's UI pack. So on the eCampus, there's still the link to the Canny's UI pack, and I will just download it for now as well. I will not donate for now, but just get the pack. It's free. You can use it in your different games as well, and just extract it for now. And I will show you how to import a font into your games, because that's a little bit of a more interesting process. And we'll wait until it's done extracting. Okay, so I extracted, and now I have this font folder here, and I'll show you how to quickly add some personality by having a custom font in your game. So to do that, I will actually create a new folder here called fonts and drag and drop this TrueType font file into my project. And now I have a font here. But before we can use a font in TextMesh Pro, we have to actually create a font asset out of it. So this is in here as a font now. And Unity also sees that it is a font, but it's not like yet a TextMesh Pro font. So to create one, here on Window, TextMesh Pro, there's this font asset creator. If I drag and drop a font into here and create the font atlas, I can now then save this right next to my font, and I create this Canny Future SDF file like that. And now, if I click on my canvas on my TextMesh Pro, I can drag and drop that font onto there, and it changes the font. And you can basically do that with any font file that you find on the internet. Just make sure that you have the rights to use the font. In this case, the font is in the CC0 pack, so you can use this font. But I'll encourage you, change the font and find something that fits your game to just personalize it to yourself. And yeah, so now there is just one last thing that I showed you on how to do to make our game, and that was actually building it. And that one is not very hard. Just click on here, build settings, and we want to have Windows as our target platform. If you're on a Mac, please make sure that you either go to the labs or that you ask someone to make a Windows build for you. And here I just click on build, and I then usually create a folder in here, which I also call build. And I also make sure in my gitignore to not check in this build. And if we click on here, it now will compile your game. And we then have a completed build. So I'll be back once I'm done compiling. Okay, and once we're done compiling, it opened up the folder on my, and I can see I have the executable here. I can double click on it and it should open my game. See, made with Unity. I can start my game and I can play it. Well, then for your thing, for your final project, make sure that your whole game fits together, everything is included in there, make it look nice, make it play nice, and make sure that there is also a way to quit your game, at least in the main menu, and that while I'm in the game I can access that menu somehow. Will show you how to make a quit button as the last thing now. So in my canvas, I'll just add another button here. So I will actually duplicate that button and move it down a bit, and quickly set the text to say exit game. And we will write a quit game function in the script. So open the main menu action script again. And in there, I'll just write a function called public void quit game and call the application dot quit in here, and this will just quit the game. Pretty straightforward, simple as that. So once I have this in here, on the second button, also we'll make sure to give it a good name, call it quit button, and change this function here from on start button to quit game. And if I now build and run my game again, we should also have a quit button. So game is running, here's my main menu, and if I click on exit game, it quits the game. Simple as that. Please make sure that in your final assignment you also have a way for me to quit the game without Alt F4 or ending the process some way, just to have a complete experience.